lot of podcasts out there, but only one with this kind of energy.
Welcome to EVP Show Recap Prediction Sports. Let go, show recap prediction sports
In one podcast.
Welcome to EVP Show Recap Prediction Sports. Let go.
What's going on, everybody? It's the EVP from the EVP Show, and we are live for your Raw Recap Show. I'm about 30 minutes late. I was actually working on something else, so I do apologize about that. Be getting into it in just 1 second. Like I said, I've been running late. And I do apologize. Alright, I'm just going to go ahead and get the tweet out that we are live. What's up, Raymond? Good to see you. Gonna go ahead and share this. Down live. I'm starting late, guys. It's my fault. I was trying to do some other stuff. We're gonna get started though. A lot to talk about. Raw is not wasting any time. I mean, Raw is wild. A lot of not a lot of unpredictability, but a couple of things. Obviously, the first thing today, news broke, WWE, John Cena is going to be hosting WrestleMania. Some say it's for tickets, some say it's not. I mean, I guess it could be a little bit of both. You know, they are struggling with ticket sales and stuff like that. Just 1 second, guys. I'm getting all these tweets out. Let's see. I do apologize, guys. Alright, they're out there, so let's get started. Welcome to your Raw Recap Show live on the EVP Show. We have a 7-day week. I have a 7-day week for you guys coming up. So yeah, it's a lot. It was a lot to unpack tonight. I want to update some things before we get started. What's going on, Alexis? Good to see you again. Enjoyed seeing you at Scoop yesterday. Alexis says, "Hey, what a Sheridan Raw was tonight. I'll give this I don't know about 9 out of 10. It's a good show. So it was reported by several outlets before Monday Night Raw that there was somebody that was snuck in the back. Obviously, it was all over X in a mask. But Brian Breaker was present backstage. Can't confirm that he was tested out by medical and he did not pass the test. So that is, I'm sure, to be confirmed here the next day or two by the bigger outlets and stuff like that. But the Seth Gunther thing was not like already planned out. It was supposed to be Braun and Seth because Braun's been working out the PC and stuff. So it was just kind of a last minute thing. I don't know what they're talking about the career on the line. It doesn't make any sense because it was a last minute decision. Like I said, Braun Breaker was that masked person that was snuck into the arena. Um, they did some sort of contact test on him or something like that, from what I was told. He didn't pass. Medical did not clear him to compete, so he will not. He's close, but I guess not close enough to be able to have WrestleMania match. I don't know what they're doing with Gunther and Seth, because Seth Rollins is not retiring. So I don't know. With John Cena hosting, like, Gunther retired him, could we see John Cena, cost Gunther the match or something like that? Or does ultimately that is where we eventually see Braun Breaker back and Braun costs Seth the match to lead to, like, their match that was supposed to happen? This, like I told you guys on Scoop yesterday, WrestleMania has been one big, huge ass mess this year with all the injuries and the rewrites. But it will be confirmed by the bigger outlets here in the next probably 24 to 48 hours. Gunther Seth was literally like a last minute call. There's no, I mean, it's a good way to get Gunther on the card. Obviously, Rey Mysterio was the original plan, but yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But I mean, it should be a good match though, so I'm not gonna complain. I wanted to see Braun and Seth, but if Braun's not ready, then there's nothing I can do about that. Gunther versus Seth Mania doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand it. It's because it was a last minute decision. Braun was backstage, like he was tested out for contact, and obviously I don't know the whole protocol with that. But I do know he was tested out. And medical didn't clear him, but he was at MSG. And he was originally supposed to come out if he was cleared, but he wasn't. So they went, they had several options on the table for Gunther. So, I don't know. We're getting Gunther and Seth Rollins. It is what it is at this point. I still think we see Braun maybe call Seth or something at WrestleMania. It's not going to be for his career though. I know Michael Cole is just, I don't know what he was talking about. He said all these people qualified tonight on the main event for the ladder match for Pence's title, which I talked about on Scoops. There would be some sort of multi-man match for Pence's title. I said made the most sense to be a ladder match. But none of them people fucking qualified. So Michael Cole is just like, I don't know. And he's saying Seth's career's on the line. I heard him say that, but I don't think that's going to be the case either. I think it's just a way they're incorporating everybody that I talked about yesterday, like Asha Speed, like he's getting incorporated into a match at WrestleMania. We're looking at Asha Speed and the new tag team champions, Logan Paul and Austin Theory, against the Usos and LA Knight. That way, LA Knight gets on the card, Gunther's on the card, Seth Rollins is on the card. All the big names are on the card. Obviously they'll figure out something with Jelly Roll, I'm sure. But yeah, a very interesting segment at the beginning of the show. It's got the IWC really like in a blaze. A lot of people are thinking that it's Vince McMahon, which I don't know. I think that would be a terrible mistake by WWE to do something like that. I mean, it could be Shane. I don't know. it's very interesting segment to kick off Raw with Cody Rhodes, who got a. I haven't heard this pop for Cody in a while. It's been kind of dry for Cody. But he got a really big pop tonight at MSG. So, but then having Stephanie come out was definitely interesting. And then bringing up her granddad or grandfather, and obviously Cody brought up Vince or whatever. So definitely can't wait for NXT Stand Delivery. Yep, this coming up Saturday. On YouTube, it's going to be NXT Stand Deliver. So the NXT Stand Deliver prediction show will be Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern live here on the EVP show. So it's going on, been too good to see you. Or yeah, I don't know. I mean, originally they said that there was going to be at least 5 women's matches, if not 6. For WrestleMania, that the women are going to be highlighted more. We'll kind of, after I go through Raw, we'll kind of go through the card for the matches that are scheduled and planned out for WrestleMania. Because we're less than like 20. Today is the 30th, so we're about 19. We're less than 20 days away from WrestleMania. So there are 12 matches confirmed. Could they do some matches on the pre-show? Yeah, I mean, I guess they could. If not, they'll probably do it on the SmackDown or Raw, like the go-home show the week of WrestleMania. So I feel like the what I talked about with the NFTs and the Y6, with the lantern and all that, they may do something like that, where they may do that like on a pre-show or something like that. Not really 100% sure on that. But they need to try to get all the big people on the card. I still think that I don't know. They have 4 women's matches now, so far. So, I don't know what I don't know what the last one's gonna be. It could be Io, Asuka. They still need to do something with Tiffany and Julia, and Chelsea maybe. So maybe they're gonna be the last 2 added. But they also got to get Jelly rolling them on the card. So, like I said, I don't know what they're going to do. I think, unfortunately, one of the matches is going to be left off the card and maybe like put on a pre-show or like SmackDown before WrestleMania. I'll just quickly kind of run down the matches for you guys before we get started with the recap. Obviously, there were some matches made official tonight. I don't have the days yet, obviously. But so we have on the men's side, we have Roman Reigns versus CM Punk. And they also haven't announced the Usos and Logan and all that. So, like I said, we have a lot of matches. So we got Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, Femi, Brock Lesnar. That's 3. Tonight was made official, which has been planned. Dominic Mysterio versus Finn Balor. That's 4. Let's see, Jacob Fatu, Drew McIntyre. That's 5. Stipulation match. Let's see, what are some of the and then we got the Intercontinental Championship ladder match, which is going to be Penta, Dragon Lee, Rusev, Javon Evans, and JD McDonough. That's 6. Trick Williams versus Sami Zayn, which is for the United States Championship, which is 7. I'm leaving one off on the men's side. Which match am I leaving off, guys? There's 7. That's 7. Let me think for a second. I don't have them all written down. I'm really hyped for Wwe Rocket Mania. And when does Wwe sign with Raw? I'm sure he goes to Raw after WrestleMania. I'm trying to remember what the 8th match is, guys. So Cody Randy, Roman Punk, Finn Dom, Jacob Drew, Trick Sammy, Gunther Seth. Gunther Seth is number 8 on the men's side. And on the ladies' side, we got Liv Morgan, Stephanie Bakor, Jay Cargill, versus Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch versus AJ Lee, and then the Fatal 4-Way for the Women's Tag Team Championships, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss versus the Bella Twins versus Bayley and Lyra Valkyria versus the champions Nia Jax and Lash Legend. Irresistible Force. So we have 12 matches so far confirmed. So my WrestleMania prediction show, that's going to be live on April the 15th. That's 12 matches. So, with a panel of 8 to 9 people, obviously I still have one open seat. That's good. We're going to be covering a lot of matches on that show, so that's going to be a very long show. But we're going to go ahead and get started. This is Monday, March the 30th, 2026, your Raw Recap, live with the EVP. And we are live from MSG in New York City. We're going to see the WWE Intercontinental Champion Penta defend his title against the New Day's Kofi Kingston, plus WWE World Heavyweight Champion CM Punk and OTC Roman Reigns are going to be under one roof. A lot of matches. Io Sky versus Raquel Rodriguez also on the card. And then the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match. The Irresistible Force of Nia Jax and the Bougie Bully Lash Legend versus Bayley and Lyra for the tag titles. And then the WWE World Tag Team Championship on Raw. For the men's side, the Usos, Jay and Jimmy versus the Division, Austin Theory and Logan Paul in a street fight. We're gonna hear from the Finn Balor, the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar will return. Lot happened tonight. Seth Rollins was obviously cleared to return, so that's always good. So the show opened up with Michael Cole and Corey Graves. Like I said, Michael Cole was kind of fibbing it, stretching it a little bit tonight with the qualifying matches for the main event for Penta's title. That never happened. It kind of sucked for Brian. Like I said, he did show up at MSG. Like I said, it will be confirmed, I'm sure, by Fightful and Body Slam and other places. Within this week, I would imagine. He showed up, didn't get cleared for contact, failed the contact test, and wasn't medically cleared, so they pivoted to Gunther Seth, which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but it will be a banger. I fully I would think Brian probably gets involved if he's ready. I don't know. Like I said, if he wasn't able to have the match at WrestleMania, then I don't know if he's going to be cleared for, contact. He didn't pass the contact test. So like I said, it was a last minute thing. Brian Breaker was in attendance at Madison Square Garden. So the show opens up with Michael Cole and Corey Graves welcoming us as we see the rivals of CM Punk, the Irresistible Forces, and Oba Femi. We then get a shot walking into the crowd, MSG, and we head to ringside. And then kicking off Monday Night Raw at MSG is your SmackDown Undisputed Heavyweight Champion. Normally not on Raw, but this is one of the biggest shows of the year, is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Huge pop for Cody. Fans went pretty wild tonight for Cody, which kind of shocked because they've been booing him a lot lately. So the crowd's doing the Cody Rhodes. They're doing all that, stuff that they normally do. He grabs the microphone, but before asking the MSG crowd what they want to talk about, Cody is cut off from and interrupted by Stephanie McMahon, which was very surprising. Definitely didn't expect that. Huge reaction, huge pop for Stephanie. She looked phenomenal as always. She makes her way down to the ring. Commentary talking her up, obviously, with her upcoming Hall of Fame induction. Cody then tells Stephanie that he's surprised to see her here. Stephanie then says Cody shouldn't be surprised because her name is Stephanie McMahon, and this is the house her grandfather built. So yeah, it's looking like, to me, it's looking like they're building towards that whole could it be somebody from Stephanie's side of the family that's on the phone with Randy Orton, or could Stephanie just been trying to wake Cody Rhodes up? He did give her that Homelander look at the end, so we'll see how the story plays out, but very interesting. So Stephanie told Cody that he shouldn't be surprised because her name is Stephanie McMahon. This is the house her grandfather built. Cody then asked Stephanie McMahon what she wanted to talk about. Stephanie then says she wants to talk about Cody and Randy at WrestleMania and WrestleMania. She then says Cody will not like what she has to say. Stephanie then says, you talked about where you used to sit at center stage in conversations, and Stephanie points to where she sat. Obviously talked about Andre the Giant. A reference to that. Stephanie then says Cody, and Randy are multi-generational stars. Stephanie then says they have all taken different paths to get where they are. Stephanie then said, you chose to take the golden path. Stephanie McMahon making the golden boy reference, telling Cody Rhodes he chose to take the golden path. Like I said, hopefully this can lead to a Cody heel turn. Stephanie then said, you stayed true to yourself and you believe that you can bring out the best in people and your opponents. Stephanie then said, this time, with this version of Randy Orton, Stephanie then said, this version of Randy Orton is diabolical. Stephanie then says, you don't have to be diabolical, but you have to think like that. Stephanie then says, you have to think like Randy. Stephanie then says, your father knew that better than anybody, referring to the late great Dusty Rhodes. Stephanie then says Dusty could get down and dirty with the best of them. Stephanie then says Cody is not Dusty. Cody did not like that. Stephanie then said this version of Cody cannot beat this version of Randy Orton. Stephanie then says you have no idea. Stephanie then says you have no idea who you are dealing with. Shout out to at Kevin a brew -D4X. Way too much Raw every week, no longer special. Which part? The Roman Punk at the end. Roman's not going to be on Raw next week, so we won't see Roman again until the Go Home Raw, right before WrestleMania. So Punk had to get his lick back from last week. I thought they finally let Liv and Stephanie at it. Obviously, we saw Roxanne Perez return tonight. So I thought that was good what they did tonight. They didn't overdo it. Way too much Raw every week, no longer special. Stephanie then says, you have no idea who you're dealing with. Cody then says, told Stephanie the last thing he would ever want to be is rude to Stephanie, but he does know who Randy Orton is. Cody then says he knows all about Randy. Cody then says the youngest champion in history and the legend killer. Cody then says he did things so vile that cannot be shown on television today, and a lot of that was to you. Referring to Stephanie. Raw and SmackDown, Jacob, Drew McIntyre, Randy, Cody, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, many others. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of brawls. But they got to get physical at some point. Like, there's only so much they can say in promos. I mean, I do understand your point. Everybody's point is validated. But at some point, you got to get physical. Especially I felt, especially Jade and Rhea. You can't just cut promos every single week. Like, we're getting so close to WrestleMania, like there has to be a little bit of physicality. Cody tells Stephanie that he did things so vile that cannot be shown on television today, and a lot of that was to you. They gave shout out to Ramy Zilas, Dirty 81. They gave Gunther vs. Rollins. Yes. So I talked about the beginning of the stream. Braun Breaker was the person that was advertised. He was the mascot that got brought in. That was obviously not Gunther. This guy was way shorter, stockier build. Braun Breaker went through the contact test. And didn't pass and was not medically cleared, so they pivoted to Gunther and Seth. So that's where we're at with that. It was not planned, Gunther and Seth, because there was no plan. The official plan for Gunther was Rey Mysterio, and the official plan for Seth was Braun Breaker, but the injuries, so they pivoted tonight to Gunther Seth, which will be a great match. So this between Cody and Stephanie should have been on SmackDown, and Cody Rhodes is a SmackDown talent. Yeah, he is, but this is the MSG show. It's one of the biggest shows of the year, so you're gonna have the biggest stars on this show. But I mean, it could have been on SmackDown, but SmackDown's been so bad. I don't know. I felt like it was a good opening. Cody then says a lot of people want the student-teacher dynamic with him and Randy. Cody then says that ended when he became a babysitter to make sure that Randy was breathing when Randy was drooling all over himself. Cody then says, do you want to bring up fathers? Cody then says he is not his father, but you aren't your father either, referring to BKM. That was a really low blow right there from Cody. Is The Rock going to return to Mania as Roman called out? I think it's a high possibility. I do think so. I think he is. Yes, I do believe he will. I don't know if he ends up costing Roman or if he comes out after the match, and maybe like attacks Roman or, gets the bill started for the WrestleMania for next year with Rock and Roman. We'll see, but I do think Rock should be involved. Stephanie slaps Cody Rhodes and she says she is out here because she cares about Cody. Stephanie then says, no one is giving you guidance in this situation. Stephanie then says, you don't know what this Randy Orton needs. Stephanie then says, you are not the student. Stephanie then says, Randy isn't listening to the voices in his head. Stephanie then says, he is beckoning them. Stephanie then says, he controls them. Stephanie then says, he is listening to someone else as well. Stephanie then says, unless you can think like Randy, you are going to lose that title. Stephanie then says, WrestleMania will be the last time that Cody is introduced as the undisputed WWE champion. Stephanie then starts to leave the ring. Cody kind of stops her, grabs her arm. Cody then tells Stephanie that he has 2 words for her, and that is thank you. And then Cody gives her a stare and leaves the ring. Very tense confrontation between Stephanie and Cody. So yeah, that was a good way to kick it off. Who do you think Randy is talking to on the phone? Is it Ted DiBiase Jr.? Possibly. Could be Shane McMahon. I'm hearing a lot of people say maybe Triple H. I don't know. I don't personally know who it is. But from that promo from Stephanie tonight, it's really starting to make me feel like it is somebody from the McMahon family. I don't think it's Vince, but could be Shane. She made a lot of references in that promo about Randy talking to someone. So yeah, I don't know for sure who it is. I hate that they pivoted from Braun and Seth, but we'll get it. It'll happen eventually this summer. So we then see Adam Pearce is in the back with I Show Speed, and he needs to talk to him. And then Danhausen then shows up. I Show Speed then asks Danhausen how he can be uncursed. Danhausen then makes an offer to lift the curse. What are they going to do with LA Knight? The Usos. So from the storyline perspective, the Usos dropped the title tonight to get LA Knight on the card, to get I Show Speed on the card. It's looking more and more like it's going to be Logan Paul and Austin Theory with an I Show Speed against the Usos and LA Knight. This is what it looks like to me. That's the way the storyline's definitely headed that way. So Pearson says he has a front row seat for him for the tag team championship match tonight. Pearson, talking to I Show Speed, obviously he was sitting out in the crowd, which obviously this is going to lead to that match. I Show Speed is going to be involved, and so is Jelly Roll. Pearson mentions a guest commentator, and it is none other than the megastar himself, LA Knight. Yeah. LA Knight then says hello, and they walk off, leaving us with Adam Pearce and Danhausen. Pearce is then confused about Danhausen not disappearing, eventually just walking off. So we then see the new Day in the background, and then we get ready for our first match of the night. It's going to be for the WWE Tag Team Championships, Men's Tag Team Championship in a street fight. The Usos going up against Logan Paul and Austin Theory. Who do you think John Cena is going to have a promo against at Mania? There's no telling. I have no idea. I mean, he's going to be the host. I mean, if it is a retirement match for Seth, then I definitely think Gunther's losing. Maybe John Cena since Gunther retired him. Maybe just John Cena gets involved or something. I don't know. I don't think he's gonna get physical, but um, I don't know. I don't know who he's gonna have a promo with. Usos make their way down to the ring. WWE World Tag Team Championship match, New York City Street Fight. So the match starts off 4-man balance. Austin Theory then hits a shoulder tackle to Jimmy, but Jimmy hits a back elbow. The Usos then hit a double back elbow and a double elbow drop to Logan Paul. Logan then joins Austin Theory on the floor, and Jay hits a plancha onto both men. Jimmy then sends Theory back into the ring, and he goes to the floor. Austin Theory then gets a kendo stick, and he hits Jimmy with it. Logan then sends Jay into the ring post. Logan then has a kendo stick as well, and Theory and Logan go under the ring to get a table, and they put it back. Theory then hits Jimmy with the kendo stick. Theory and Logan then hit Jay with the kendo stick. They then turn their attention to Jimmy. Logan then chucks Jay with the kendo stick. Logan and Theory then decide they start talking shit to the crowd instead of dealing with their opponents. Logan then hits Jay with the kendo stick many times while Theory goes for the table. Again, he puts it in the ring. Logan then hits Jimmy with the kendo stick again. Theory then hits Jay Uso with the trash can while Logan hits Jimmy with the kendo stick. Logan brings the trash can to the ring, and he hits Jimmy with the kendo stick and the trash can. They then continue to hit Jimmy and Jay with the trash can. Logan and Theory then run into each other because they take too long with the trash cans. Jay then puts the trash can over Logan, and they hit a double super kick. I see your comment, Rami. I'll get to it in a second. Jimmy then hits Theory with the trash can, and Jimmy puts the trash can over Theory, and he hits him. The Usos then set up a table in the ring, and Jimmy hits a super kick to Austin Theory. They then put Theory on the turnbuckles for a double superplex, and they hit it to send him through the table. Logan then gets something from his mom, which was the brass knuckles, who happens to be sitting next to Asho Speed. LA Knight then attacks Logan, and so does Asho Speed after Logan is given a pair of brass knuckles. Logan is then sent to the ring post. Asho Speed comes out and picks up the brass knuckles. He doesn't know that he thinks it's Logan Paul behind him. Instead, it's LA Knight, and he punches LA Knight with the brass knuckles. Asho Speed then goes up the aisle, and all four are back in the ring. Logan then goes to use the brass knuckles, and he winds up to hit Jimmy Uso, and he misses. Jimmy then hits a super kick, followed by a stereo super kick. They then hit a double super kick on Austin Theory, and Jay hits a spear. Jimmy then goes for a suicide dive, but Logan hits him with the brass knuckles. Jay then hits a crossbody off the apron onto Logan Paul. Theory then falls onto Jimmy Uso for the 1, 2, 3, and we have new WWE Raw Men's Tag Team Champions divisions, Logan Paul and Austin Theory, with Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed return. Braun Breaker will be back soon. Bronson obviously later on in the summertime. But it's a good start for the division, getting some title gold around them. As I said, Jay Uso said last week on Raw to Roman, he didn't really give a shit about the titles. But this definitely sets up a match at WrestleMania. I mean, we could end up having a 16-match card. It definitely sets up Logan Paul and Austin Theory, Asho Speed versus the Usos and LA Knight. But we have new WWE Raw Tag Team Champions tonight. After the match, Logan and Austin thanked Speed, and Speed says he didn't mean to help them, but he's kind of caught in the crosshairs now. So let's get to the comment really quick. What are your predictions for the winner of Reigns versus Punk and Rhodes versus Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton? It's tough to call. I think either match can go either way. I mean, I don't think both titles are changing hands. I don't. So I'm gonna say Roman and Cody. I'm gonna say Roman wins. I think Cody. I think WWE may finally pull the trigger on Cody. And have that big WrestleMania moment to end night one. That's just a prediction. You asked for a prediction, so I'm giving it to you. I think Roman Reigns wins the title, and I think Cody Rhodes retains at WrestleMania. Because they're just making it too apparent that Cody can't win. So Wrestling 101 is saying that he is going to win. So, yeah, I'm going with Roman and Cody. So we then take a look back at what transpired at the end of last week's Raw. Obviously, Roman Reigns powerbombing CM Punk through the table. Kit Wilson should have a promo at WrestleMania. I think he'll be involved in a match or something with Jelly Roll. They'll probably have that settled on Raw. On SmackDown this coming week. So Liv Morgan comes out next. Obviously the Usos got a new theme song. I failed to mention that. They have new theme music. So the match between the Miz and the Usos ended too fast, and we didn't see the Usos for the rest of the night. Yeah, that was strange that we didn't see them, but like I said, I think tonight was kind of like the payback night for Punk. And they lost the tag titles. Obviously, they may not wanted to come out there with Roman after losing the tag titles. And then CM Punk was, obviously got the best of Roman tonight. But I think we see him again next week, which is gonna, ultimately set up the Usos and LA Knight versus Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and Asha Speed at WrestleMania. Kit Wilson, I think he has some sort of match or something with Jelly Roll. Honestly, do. So Liv Morgan's music hit. She looked phenomenal as always. Looks like she lightened her hair up a little bit. It looked a different color blonde than normal. Her music hit. She makes her way down to the ring. Then we get a shot of the New York City subway station and celebrities in the crowd, including Jeff Ross and Lin-Manuel Miranda. We're heading back to the ring where Liv Morgan grabs the microphone. She starts off by saying, "You're in the presence of the greatest Royal Rumble winner of all time." Liv then says, "Stephanie Valcourt, you are done for you know what." Liv then says, "It is one thing to attack her, but to attack her family and to attack Dominic." Liv then says, "She should be surprised, but you have no family here." Liv then says, "You say she hides behind hers, but you sneak attack her." Liv then says, "You are afraid to meet her face to face." Liv then says, "You are proud of where you come from, but this is where she comes from, the wrestling ring." Liv then says, "Her mother taught her never to let anyone get the better of her." Liv then says, "Your mother," and then she says something in Spanish, an insult to Stephanie Valcourt's mother, which I'm not going to repeat on live stream. Liv insults Stephanie's mother, and she tells her to get her ass out there, and out comes our WWE Women's Raw Champion, Stephanie McMahon. She is not happy. She makes her way down to the ring. Liv then attacks Stephanie McMahon. She enters the ring. Liv hits some punches. McMahon follows back with some punches of her own. Stephanie then hits a back heel kick to the temple. Stephanie McMahon then gets a chair and she brings it back into the ring. She's getting ready to attack Liv Morgan with the chair. Then out from behind is the returning prodigy. Roxanne Perez attacks Stephanie McMahon from behind. She delivers some windmill punches to Stephanie McMahon. Liv joins in on an attack. Where was Raquel? Is she even still with Judgment Day? I don't think as much as it's crazy. I don't know if Liv's even winning. I think maybe Raquel ends up costing her. I don't know. That one's another one that's tough to call. So then Roxanne holds Stephanie McMahon up, and Liv hits the Oblivion onto the chair. Liv then runs McMahon down before her and Roxanne Perez stand over the top of Stephanie McMahon. Liv Morgan then grabs the WWE Women's title and raises it up ahead of facing. She kisses the belt as well ahead of her big match. So there's still a couple of Raws. I think the most important thing you'll see what happens on the Raw before WrestleMania, and we should be able to get a better gauge. Right now it's just kind of back and forth. But it was a good situation. I liked that they got physical last week. It was very short. Went backstage and they just kind of got away from it. They actually got in the ring tonight, and then we saw the return of Roxanne Perez. So, and truly, is Roxanne really gonna stay with Liv, or is she gonna ultimately? Because Finn Balor is the one that brought her into the Judgment Day. So we'll see how this whole situation plays out. We then take a look at the situation between Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman. We then see Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and Astro Speed in the back. Logan Paul and Austin Theory are celebrating their victory and their new tag team championship win. And Astro Speed says he didn't mean to get involved. Logan then says it doesn't matter. But now he has some enemies. Astro Speed then says he cannot do it. And then Paul Heyman comes in and tells Astro Speed he is in very good hands. Heyman then says they will protect him, and he tells them to take Speed to dinner. And Logan Paul asks Speed, how about a sirloin? It's funny. Heyman then says, when they walk off, Heyman then says the Usos are going to kill Astro Speed. And then Adam Pearce, the Raw general manager, walks in and shows up, and he asks Paul Heyman if he checked his email today. Heyman then tells him to print it out and give it to him before walking out. He said did not check his email. He said, "Why did you ask me out on a date?" So that was pretty funny too. So then we get to the next match of the night, and it's going to be Bayley and Lyra Valkyria versus the Irresistible Forces for the WWE Women's SmackDown Tag Team Championship. Take a look back at SmackDown, where the champs and the challenger get involved in some business involving Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, and the Bella Twins last week. Obviously, preluding what we're going to get at WrestleMania, which is the Fatal 4-Way. So the match will talk with Lash Legend and Bayley, but Legend takes her down with the boot before tagging in Nia Jax. Bayley escapes a scoop slam for a tag to Lyra Valkyria, who uses her agility to keep Jax off her game. Jax then traps her in the corner, and Legend tags in. The Lyra Valkyria breaks free before going to the corner. Lash Legend then catches her, seeing her across the ring for a splash, but Lyra Valkyria dodges it for it and gets a tag into Bayley. A double drop kick then leads to a cover by Bailey, but Lash Legend kicks out at 1. Quick kick out. Lara then tagged back in, but both Lara and Bailey are dropped by they're dropped to Lash Legend just drops both of them to the mat. Who brings Lara Valkyria to the corner for a tag to Nia Jax. Lara Valkyria then tries to fight off both Jax and Lash Legend before hitting the ropes for a drop kick. A blind tag is then made by Bailey that allows her to send Nia Jax to the outside onto the table, and Lara Valkyria follows suit by taking Lash Legend to the outside with a drop kick through the ropes. Nia and Lara then return to the ring, and Nia catches Lara on a crossbody, and Nia hits a slam for a near fall. Lash then tags in, and she chops Lara. Lash then sends Lara's head into the ropes. She then does it on the other side of the ring. Lash then does it a third time. Lash then hits a knee drop for a near fall. Lash then applies what they call a stretch muffler. It's not really a finesse stretch muffler, but Lara then pulls herself up. She counters into a sunset flip, but Lash goes with windmill punches to stay on her feet. Lash then hits a clothesline. Nia tags in and she hits a headbutt. Nia sends Lara into the turnbuckles. Lara then pulls Nia into the ring post. Then Nia then knocks Bailey off the apron to keep Lara from making the tag to Bailey. Nia then gets Lara up for a Samoan drop. Nia goes for the pinfall, but only gets a count of 2. Nia then sends Lara into the turnbuckles, and Lara hits some kicks to escape the corner. Lash Legend then tags in and she stops Lara. Lara ends up hitting an enziguri. Lash then holds on, and Lara counters a suplex into a DDT. Lara then makes a tag to Bailey. Bailey hits an elbow drop to the back, goes for the pinfall for only a count of 2. Lash then hits a bicycle kick, and Nia tags in. Nia then hits a leg drop, and only for a count of 2. Nia then pulls Bailey into the corner for an annihilator, and Bailey recovers and hits Nia in the back. Bailey then goes for a powerbomb and hits it. Big, huge powerbomb by Bailey. Lara tags in. She goes up top for the moonsault, but Lash kicks out at 2. Or Nia kicks out at 2. Bailey then delivers some punches to Lash, but Lash fires back with a punch. Lash then hits a running European uppercut. Everyone is down in the ring, and then out comes the Bella twins. Nikki and Brie Bella make their way down to the ring, as well as Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. Charlotte's doing the Bella dance again out there. They then have words for each other, and Lara comes out to yell at them. Nia then sends Lara into Charlotte and Alexa. Lash then hits a forearm to Bree's back. Lash then sends Nikki into the ring post. Lash then sends Bailey into the apron. Nia then hits a pop-up headbutt to Lara. Charlotte then comes. Oh, my phone's messing up again, guys. Sorry. I don't know why my phone does this crazy stuff. I need a new phone. This match broke down in pandemonium, which was fully expected because, like I said, it was going to be a fatal 4-way. So once the Bella Twins and Charlotte and Alexa come out, kind of knew it was going to be over from there. So Lash sends Nikki into the ring post. Lash then sends Bailey into the apron. Nia then hits a pop-up headbutt to Lara. Charlotte then comes into the ring and she clips Nia Jax, and the referee calls for the bell. So it is a disqualification. Winners and still WWE Women's Tag Team Champion due to disqualification, Irresistible Forces, Nia Jax, and the Bougie Bully Lash Legend. After the match, Charlotte Flair sent Alexa Bliss into Nia, and Bayley and Lyra take care of Lash. Bayley and Lyra then finally realize that those four women blew their chance at the titles, and they yell at Alexa, Charlotte, Nikki, and Brie. And that sets up, which is now official, for WrestleMania, the Fatal 4-Way. It's going to be the Irresistible Forces, Nia Jax, and Lash Legend defending those SmackDown Tag Team Championships against the Bella Twins, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, and Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. So then we get a video package that shows what's happened over the last couple of weeks over Femi and Brock Lesnar. So then we get the number one merch seller right now in WWE. Danhausen makes his way down to the ring to make an announcement. Danhausen says WWE will be back at Madison Square Garden on July the 18th for Saturday night's main event. So Saturday night's main event will be coming back to MSG on July 18th for Saturday night's main event. And he shot some t-shirts off into the crowd. So then we get to the next segment, and we hear the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar's music hit. He makes his way down to the ring with WWE Hall of Famer Paul Heyman. Commentary then talks about Brock's match against Femi at WrestleMania 42 as he enters the ring with Heyman. Heyman now has a mic as the crowd chants for Femi. Heyman then introduces himself and Brock. Heyman then says he is out here tonight to pontificate on the perils that await Femi. Heyman then says 2 weeks ago, Brock was distracted by Seth Rollins and was caught off guard by Femi. Heyman then says last week, Brock was not just to fight. Heyman then says he was here to have a beast-to-man conversation with Femi. Femi decided to pick a fight when Brock just wanted to have a conversation. Heyman then said if you notice, Brock is just to fight because Brock has authorized him to let everyone know that he has seen this for 25 years in WWE and UFC. Heyman then says when someone locks up with Brock's eye, they piss all over themselves. Heyman then says they might as well mop up from the beating he will take from Brock tonight. Brock Lesnar says that enough's enough. He grabs the microphone, tells Femi to get his ass out there right now. Then out comes Adam Pearce. He comes out. He tells Heyman and Brock that won't be happening tonight. Adam then says his job is to preserve his main events for WrestleMania, and that is what he's going to do. Adam then says, with all due respect, it will not be happening tonight. Adam then asks Heyman and Brock to leave the ring, and then the lights go out, and here comes the ruler himself, Femi. Makes his way out. Security then charges and he hits a double shoulder tackle to security. The security is just getting mauled at this point. Then pushes Pearce down when Pearce tries to stop him. Then struts around the ring while Brock waits for him to enter. Then gets on the apron and he enters the ring. They then move closer to each other in the ring, and out comes Paul Triple H Levesque, which I haven't seen him do that hardly ever for a match. He enters the ring and he gets between Brock and Triple H talks down. Triple H tells Paul Heyman to get Brock out of here. Brock then leaves the ring. Brock then picks up the top half of the stairs and he throws it against the apron. Brock then shows that he can beat the crap out of security and gives them an F5. So instead of Brock getting the upper hand on they ran the angle tonight. Did not, stand tall over Brock. Obviously they brought Triple H into it, which was weird. So we then get a video package looking at Finn Balor's journey away from the Judgment Day as he calls out Dominic Mysterio. Finn Balor says the Judgment Day was a family and they ran Raw for 4 years. Finn then says he did things that he did not like. Finn then says the worst decision was thinking he could make Dominic Mysterio a man. Finn then says you ran the playbook. Finn then says when you were lost, he was the one you turned to. Finn then says he stood up for Dominic. Finn then says you didn't lose the title because of him. Finn says you lost because you're a self-entitled jackass. Finn then says he is responsible for that jackass. But then Finn says he is now responsible for destroying him at WrestleMania. So it is now official at WrestleMania. Going to see Finn Balor one-on-one versus Dirty Dominic Mysterio. So Penta then makes his way down to the ring for the next match of the night, followed by one half of New Day Kofi Kingston, WWE Intercontinental Championship match. The match starts off with both men locking up, trading offense before Kofi takes control, keeping Penta down with the DDT for a 2 count. Penta then fights back with a few chops, but Kofi dodges a corner attack, only to be caught by Penta with some knees to the face for a count of 2. Kofi then breaks free from a Penta driver attempt, but Penta kicks him in the corner before hitting a double boot for a 2 count. Penta delivers a right hand, but Kofi has a springboard dropkick to get back into the match. Penta then fights Kofi off at the ropes, takes a back body drop onto the apron before Grayson Waller confronts him on the outside. Kofi then intervenes, saying he doesn't need the help. Dissension there between Kofi and Grayson Waller. Kofi then sends Penta into the ring post, and he breaks the count and returns to the floor. Kofi delivered a kick and some forearms to Penta on the floor. Kofi then goes up top, and he hits Shadowed over Hill for a near fall. Kofi then applies a rear chin lock and transitions to a half Nelson and a chin bar. Penta then hits some back elbows to get out of the hole. Kofi then hits a slam and a slingshot splash for a count of 2. Kofi then hits some punches. Kofi then applies a front face lock and they exchange punches. Penta then hits a kick and a thrust kick to the back of the leg and hits a wraparound bulldog. Kofi Kingston then blocks a clothesline and he hits an SOS. He goes for the pin and gets a count of 2. Kofi then runs into a thrust kick. Kofi then delivers a leaping leg drop to the back of the neck for a near fall. Grayson Waller then sends Penta back into the ring. Kofi yells at Waller for helping. Kofi then says he has it and kicks Penta to the floor. Kofi then goes for a coffin drop plunging and Penta catches Kofi and drops him on the announce desk. Waller then tells Kofi he might have needed his help. Penta then hits a destroyer to Waller on the floor. Penta then goes up top. Kofi hits Trouble in Paradise as Penta comes off the turnbuckles, but Penta kicks out at 2. Kofi then goes for a superplex, but Penta sends him to the mat, and Penta comes off the turnbuckles and hits the Mexican Destroyer for the 1, 2, 3. So Penta has retained the Intercontinental Championship. And it is official for WrestleMania. In a ladder match, Penta will be defending his Intercontinental Championship. It'll be Penta versus Dragon Lee versus JD McDonough. Penta, JD McDonough, Dragon Lee, Javon Evans, and Rusev. After the match, Jackie Redmond interviewed Penta. Jackie asked Penta about WrestleMania, and Penta says anyone who dares challenge him, it is done. Penta then says at WrestleMania he will defend his title in a ladder match. Penta then says this is his kingdom. So we then see Paul Heyman on the phone making a food order, and Adam Pearce shows up. Pearce then asks where is Brock. Paul then says that Brock has left the arena. Adam Pearce then asks again about the email, which is obviously referring to Seth Rollins. Paul then says he doesn't do emails. He then says keep their ear to the ground. Pearce then asks Paul if he smelled anything interesting today. Paul then says he smelled a corporate general manager. He then says, wait until you hear what he has to say in the ring. So then, while most people are on commercial break, Dominic Mysterio makes his way to the stage. Dominic says he should be standing here, still your Intercontinental Champion. Dominic then said thanks to Finn Balor not once but twice. He cost him the opportunity to get his title back. Dominic then says at WrestleMania there will only be one man standing tall, and it will be him. So Dominic Mysterio, Finn Balor is official for WrestleMania. Paul Heyman is back in the ring, and he said before he was so rudely interrupted. Paul then insults the lighting job, obviously. He then mentions the new WWE Raw Tag Team Champions Austin Theory and the Maverick Logan Paul. Paul Heyman then says he tried to do something special for all of you. He then says he tried to get back to the community. Paul then says he tried to give you tonight Brock Lesnar versus Obafemi. Paul then says that wannabe mid-level suck-up middle management Sato, general manager Adam Pearce interrupts. He said he was trying to help Paul. He then asked Paul if he checked his email today. Paul then says he sees the future, and whether it is hacking your emails or listening in on your phone calls, he isn't supposed to know. Pearson tells Paul that Boston police dropped all charges against Seth Rollins. Paul then says he knows that. Paul then asks if he's supposed to be afraid in his hometown. He then said he fears no man. Paul Heyman then says he is the last manager standing from the 1980s. He is the GOAT. Paul then says he is the last promoter standing from the 1990s. Adam Pearson said Paul knows to let Paul know that Seth Rollins is now medically cleared to compete. Paul then has a shocked, scared look on his face. Seth Rollins' music then hits, and he appears on the apron behind Paul Heyman. Paul knows he is in trouble. Seth hits Paul in the back with a chair. Seth then sets up for the stomp, and out, which was supposed to be Braun Breaker, wasn't medically cleared. Out comes the ring general, the career killer, Gunther. Gunther pulls Rollins from the ring and applies a sleeper hold. Seth passes out against the announced death. Gunther then points to the WrestleMania sign, letting Seth Rollins know that's what he has in store for his future. Gunther's music hits as he walks away. That match has been made official for WrestleMania. Gunther will go one-on-one with Seth Rollins. We then get a recap of what just went down as Raquel Rodriguez makes her way down to the ring for the main event of the night, which she'll be going up against the Genius of the Sky, Io Sky. So the match starts off with Io applying a side headlock to Raquel, picking her up and tossing her aside. Raquel then sends Io into the turnbuckles and she hits some shoulders. Io then delivers a sunset flip and applies an octopus. Raquel then escapes and she blocks a head scissors takedown. Io then kicks Raquel and she hits a leg sweep and a drop kick. Io then sends Raquel over the top rope into the floor and she goes for a suicide dive crossbody, but Raquel catches Io. Io then gets to her feet, but Raquel hits a clothesline. Raquel then gets a near fall. Raquel applies a wrist lock and she lifts Io in the air and hits a shoulder tackle. Raquel then lifts Io again and Io goes for a triangle. Io then gets to her feet and delivers some forearms, but then Raquel hits a big boot to Io Sky's head. Raquel then goes for a running powerbomb and Io counters with a head scissors takedown. Io then hits a moonsault onto Raquel on the floor. Io then delivers a kick and then goes up top, but Raquel trips Io and Raquel hits a follow-away slam, followed by an elbow drop. Raquel then hits a third elbow drop and goes for the pinfall, but only gets a count of 2. Raquel then applies a Cobra Clutch. Io Sky then delivers an elbow, but Raquel hits a shoulder tackle. Raquel then chokes Io in the ropes. Then Raquel delivers another elbow to Io Sky. Raquel then hits a slam and goes for the pinfall for a count of 2. She delivers another fallaway slam, but then Raquel misses an elbow drop. Io moves out of the way. Io then goes for a roll-up, and then hits a double stomp onto Raquel Rodriguez. Raquel then blocks an Irish whip, and Raquel hits an Raquel hits an Irish whip. Io then hits a pendulum kick and a missile drop kick, and she does her ears thing gimmick. Io then sets up for the running double knee strike, and she delivers and hits it. Io goes up top and sets up for the moonsault, but Raquel gets her feet up, and Raquel hits a shoulder tackle for a near fall. Raquel then sets up for a powerbomb, but Io Sky escapes. Io then hits the forearms. Raquel then chokes Io, but Io hits a Hurricane Rana and a double stomp for a count of 2. Then out comes Asuka and Kairi Sane. Asuka then pushes Kairi Sane up the aisle to the ring, and Io is arguing with Kairi Sane. Raquel then hits a boot to Kairi Sane when Io moves out of the way. Io then gets a roll-up, but only a count of 2. Io then hits a pendulum kick, and Io goes up top. She hits a DDT. Io then sets up for a running double knee strike, and she hits it. Asuka then grabs Sane, and Io sees what is happening. Io then hits a suicide dive onto the floor onto Asuka, and she puts her hands onto Kairi Sane and lets her know that she was doing that for her. Io checks on Sane, and she returns to the ring, but that's enough distraction, and Raquel Rodriguez ends up hitting the Tejana Bomb for the 1-2-3. Raquel Rodriguez has scored the victory over Io Sky. So it is announced that the ladder match at WrestleMania 42 will have Javon Evans, Dragon Lee, Rusev, and JD McDonough along with Penta. So Javon Evans, Dragon Lee, Rusev. So it will be a fatal 5-way on the ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship. It's also announced that Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio is official, and there will be a fatal 4-way match for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship, which will be Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair versus the Bella Twins versus Bayley and Laura Valkyria versus the Tag Team Champions, the Irresistible Forces, Nia Jax, and the Bougie Bully herself, Flash Legend. It is then announced that John Cena is going to be the host of the showcase of the Immortals. You can't see him at WrestleMania 42. So then Big Joseph is now in the interview area with Javon Evans. Let him know about challenging for the title. Evan freaks out that he is going to WrestleMania. Big then asks Javon what would his grandmother think of Evans going to WrestleMania. Evans then says she would tell him to have fun and be safe. He then says he needs to absorb that knowledge. We then go to the back and we see Jackie Redmond waiting on some sort of doctor report on Seth Rollins. She talks to Seth. Adam Pearce comes out. An update. Pearce says Seth is pissed off, but he is cleared. Adam Pearce says the match is official for WrestleMania. Seth Rollins will go one-on-one with the ring general Gunther. It is official. So we get to the final segment of the night. We all knew would be. Roman Reigns music hits as he makes his way down to the ring. Roman then grabs the mic, starts off by telling MSG to acknowledge him. And then didn't waste any time. CM Punk's music interrupts, and he makes his way down to the ring, and he's ready for a fight. There's no promo. It is straight battling. CM Punk delivers some punches. And Roman hits a flying body block. Punk then sends Roman over the top rope into the floor. Punk then sends Roman into the announce desk and hits a right hand. Officials then come out while Roman is sent to the ring post. Punk then pulls off the announce desk. Roman then punches Punk, and he sets up for a powerbomb, but the officials pull him down. Roman goes after the officials. They then stop Roman from powerbombing Punk, and then Punk tries to lift Roman Reigns up for the go to sleep, but the officials stop that as well. Roman then goes for a spear, but misses Punk, and he hits Petey Williams. Punk then hits a go to sleep onto Roman Reigns. Finally gets that finisher and hits it on Roman Reigns. Punk then takes a second to survey the situation and says he is okay, but that is a ruse because he punches Roman some more. Punk then goes for a powerbomb through a table, and the officials are not going to stop this one as Roman goes through the table. CM Punk powerbombs Roman Reigns to the table just like he had done to him last week. Punk then sits down pipe bomb style in front of Roman. He stands tall over the barricade and celebrates with the fans as the show comes to a close. So yeah, Raw was a lot to unpack tonight, guys. They forced a lot of stuff. Like I said, Braun Breaker was at MSG. They tested him out for contact before the show. He was not cleared for contact. Medical would not clear him to compete. So Gunther is taking his spot. Obviously, Rey Mysterio is also not clear. So we're getting Gunther, Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. Sure, it'll be updated if it's not already updated on X. Haven't been on there, but this was a last minute. I'm talking about tonight decision with Seth Rollins and Gunther. It was not planned last week or the week before last because Braun Breaker has been trying to get prepared and get ready and get back for WrestleMania at the Performance Center, but he could not passed the contact test, and so therefore he was not cleared to compete in WrestleMania. So we're not going to get Braun Breaker or Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. So I'm going to quickly run through the match card again for WrestleMania for what we have so far. We have Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, Jacob Fatu, and Drew McIntyre in a non-sanctioned match. That's 3 matches. Obafemi versus Brock Lesnar is 4. Trick Williams versus Sami Zayn for the United States title is 5. The Dominic Mysterio versus Finn Balor is 6. For the Intercontinental Championship in a ladder match, we're going to see Penta defend against Javon Evans, Dragon Lee, Rusev, and JD McDonough. That is 7. And number 8 on the men's side, the ring general himself, Gunther, goes one-on-one with Seth Rollins. On the ladies' side, so far we have Stephanie Bakor defending the Women's Raw Championship against Liv Morgan. Jade Cargill defends the WWE Women's SmackDown Championship against Rhea Ripley. We also have AJ Lee defending the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship against Becky Lynch, which neither one of them are on the show tonight. Expect to see them next week. And then the last women's match so far that has been announced is the Fatal 4-Way for the Women's Tag Team Championship. Nia Jax and Lash Legend will defend against the Bella Twins, Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, and Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. So that is it, guys, for the Raw recap. So going to do some shout outs and then I'll go to a couple of announcements. Shout out to Raymond, Alexis for coming in. Good to see you guys. Been to as always. A couple of new people I haven't seen in the stream before. Shout out to Kevin Abreu slash D4X. Shout out to Ramil Ziegler 3081. Thank you guys for coming in. And Alexis as well. So a couple announcements. I still do have a post out. I have one spot remaining. We have 12 matches so far for WrestleMania. The WrestleMania prediction show will be live April the 15th on the EVP show at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I will make another post about that. At some point this week. Don't know exactly when that will happen, but I will make a post about it. April the 19th, Sunday Scoops will not be airing live because I will be doing a night 2, WrestleMania night 2 recap that night. So Sunday Scoops will not happen on April the 19th. And then April the 26th, the weekend after WrestleMania, Sunday Scoops will be back. And at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time on April 26th will be the season premiere of LFG Season 3. And I will be recapping that at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time on April the 26th here on the EVP show. So if you guys want to fill that last seat and come on and predict all these matches, it's going to be a boatload of matches for WrestleMania. Make sure to hit me up in the DMs or comment. There is one seat left available. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my outro, guys. I hope you guys enjoy Raw. I have a super busy week ahead. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the outro, tell you guys where you can find me on my socials and what I have coming up for you guys for the rest of the week.
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
There are a lot of podcasts out there, but only one with this kind of energy.
Welcome to EVP Show Recap Prediction Sports. Let go, Show Recap Prediction Sports.
In one podcast.
Welcome to EVP Show Recap Prediction Sports. Let go.
All right, guys. Thank you once again for tuning in to the Raw Recap Live March 30th, 2026 on the EVP show. As far as where you can find me on my socials, it is scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Also, as I mentioned on every stream, you can find my YouTube channel on any of these platforms that I'm going to provide to you. Obviously, it's pinned at the top of my X channel. So if you guys enjoy the content, make sure if you guys are watching the stream live tonight, make sure you guys hit the like button, spam the like button. I think got 7 or 8 likes yesterday for Sunday Scoops. Yesterday was the most views I've got on YouTube from Sunday Scoops. The views have been kind of down the last few days on YouTube, but I think yesterday was the most views I've gotten on Sunday Scoops yet. So that's definitely a show I'm building on. Obviously, you guys have been killing it with Raw. The views are low right now. I think there's a space going on, something like that. Last SmackDown was really bad, so the views were pretty terrible on YouTube. The last 2 NXTs, you guys have absolutely killed it. I finally got over 100 views on an NXT show from last week. So I definitely appreciate that from you guys. So as far as where you can find me on my socials, all my links are in the bio. If you're looking for me on X, you can subscribe. You can find me on X at EVPCJP. If you follow me, you can see my YouTube channel up at the top. Make sure you retweet that. Share it with your friends, family, whoever like WWE, TNA, NXT, LFG, any type of content. There's plenty of that on this channel. Make sure you guys go ahead and share that with your friends and hit that like and subscribe button. And hit the notification bell. That way you guys know when I go live. On Instagram, you can find me at EVPCJP as well. If you're looking for me on TikTok, you can find me on TikTok at Brady the Goat 21. Again, that's at Brady DA Goat 21. Scrolling right now across the screen at BRADYDA Goat 21. Last but not least, as I mentioned before, if you guys are watching this stream live on YouTube, please make sure you hit that like button and there's been several comments, so I definitely appreciate that. It helps with the algorithm. And likes definitely help with the YouTube stream and the channel. I'm not able to put out as many shorts now as I was because StreamYard kind of limited me to like 6 a month with the plan I got. So I'm gonna have to figure out something when I'm not so busy on how to go in manually and edit the shorts. I'm kind of saving the shorts for the bigger shows, such as like the prediction show that's coming up in 2 days. And then obviously all the stuff that maybe the recap show for Stand and Deliver. And then obviously, the 3 big WrestleMania shows. I definitely want to have shorts out for those. So, but last but not least, most importantly, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're not already subscribed and you're looking for it. If you can't, it's located, like I said, at the top of my X page. It's in my bio on Instagram, my bio on Facebook, my bio on TikTok. But if you're looking for it in the search bar on YouTube, you type in @DVP Show. So please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you can be reminded when I go live. So tomorrow, Tuesday, March 31st, the last day of March 2026. First off, you want to catch Miami, the CEO at head of the table of DWE. He'll be live at 6 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, Inside the Mind with Miami, when he covers everything going on with the NFL. For me, I'm going to be on twice tomorrow, so you can catch me live at 6 p.m. Eastern time. I will be a guest on the Wrestling Divas podcast with Lady Alpha and Autumn at 6 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. So you guys make sure to give them a follow on X and a subscription as well on YouTube. I'll be joining them at 6 p.m. Eastern. First time I'll be coming on their show. And like I told you guys last night on the stream, if I do have a couple of days off during the week, if anybody's interested for me coming on their stream, I'm always open to coming on anybody's stream, talking wrestling content. That's what it's all about. So all coming together and making this one big happy family, where we can all talk about wrestling, everything that we love about professional wrestling and things that we don't love. But then tomorrow night, I'm back here live. I'm not going away for the whole day. I just will be on Wrestling Divas podcast for an hour or two, however long the stream is. But you can catch me live at 10:30 p.m. Eastern tomorrow for the Go Home show. This is the Go Home NXT right before Stand and Deliver. So it should be an action-packed show tomorrow night on NXT. You're going to see Kendall Gray and Lola Vice in a number 1 contenders match to see who's going to go to Stand and Deliver to face JC James for the NXT Women's Championship. So tune in live tomorrow night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern for the NXT recap. Wednesday, make sure you guys set that notification bell at 7 p.m. Eastern time. We are going to be live for the NXT Stand and Deliver prediction show. It is going to be a super big, huge panel. You don't want to miss it. That will be 7 p.m. Eastern live Wednesday night on the EVP show. Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you guys lock in, hit that notification bell, come join us as we predict all of the matches for NXT Stand and Deliver. Thursday night, I'm back again for your TNA recap show at 11:30 p.m. Eastern time. Friday night, we're still headed to WrestleMania. Catch me live at 11:30 p.m. Eastern for your SmackDown recap. Saturday, I will be watching Stand and Deliver on YouTube, live on YouTube from St. Louis, Missouri. But once Stand and Deliver is done and all the dust is settled, you can catch me live Saturday night here on the EVP show at 10:30 p.m. Eastern time for the NXT Stand and Deliver recap show. And then Sunday, same time, same place, 6 p.m. Eastern time for Sunday Night Scoops with the EVP episode, no, I believe it's number 16 or 17. I can't keep up at this point. It's been so many of them. That being said, it's a full week. We got a full week of content, guys. So a lot of wrestling. Next week we'll go back to 5 streams, and then the week after that is WrestleMania week, and that will be another 7 days of content coming your way on the EVP show. So definitely looking forward to that. Once again, thank you guys for tuning in live either on my YouTube channel, Miami's X, or my X account. The views are a little later tonight. Like I said, there's a lot of things going on. I'm sure that there's a lot of podcasters streaming right now. A lot of things going on. So make sure if you guys are watching this on YouTube or go back and watch this, please hit that like button. That definitely helps my channel out, my stream, and puts my stream in the algorithm where people can keep their eyes. I get new eyes and ears on my stream. With that being said, guys, that is it for your Raw recap. I will see you guys. If you make sure you tune in, like I said, the Wrestling Divas podcast, and at 6 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, I'll be a guest tomorrow on their show, and also Inside the Mind with Miami the Great at 6 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. And then I will catch you guys live tomorrow night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern time for the Go Home show of NXT Before Stand and Deliver at 10:30 p.m. Eastern time for your NXT recap show. With that being said, guys, I hope you guys enjoy your Tuesday. It's going to be a busy day for me tomorrow. So I will catch you guys either at 6 p.m. Eastern on the Wrestling Divas podcast, or I will see you guys at 10:30 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night for your NXT recap show. I am the EVP from the EVP show and the golden boy of DWE. DWE is the place to be. Good night, everyone. Enjoy your Tuesday, and I will see you guys tomorrow night.